What's up, Football Daily? We recently put out a video discussing 10 players who are smashing it on loan this season, so let's now take a look at 10 loan moves that aren't going to plan. 10. Dele Alli. Dele Alli's decision to join Besiktas from Everton last summer drew a mixed response. His critics denounced the move as a glaring reality check for the 26-year-old and the latest chapter in his fall from grace, while his sympathisers painted it as an opportunity for Dele to rebuild his career away from the prying eyes of the English media. And 6 months in, and his adventure in Istanbul is not going to plan. Alli started brightly, scoring on his second appearance for the Black Eagles, but since then he has only netted once more, and has failed to register a single assist. That is less goal involvements for Besiktas than his fellow Englishman Nathan Redmond, while he has completed 90 minutes just once. At one point he even failed to appear off the bench for 4 straight games. Besiktas coach Şenol Güneş has publicly blasted the former Tottenham star for his quote below expectation performances, and there was even talk the club considered cancelling his loan, which cost them £1.9 million to push through. Still, Dele remains in Istanbul. Let's hope a strong end to the season silences his doubters and potentially saves his career. 9. Romelu Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku's disastrous return to Chelsea in 2021 was preceded by the most impressive season of his professional career, scoring 24 and assisting 11 to help Inter Milan win their first Serie A title in over a decade. So, a loan back to San Siro after a nightmare campaign at Stamford Bridge, during which he publicly expressed regret at leaving Italy, seemed to make sense, with the Nerazzurri having to rely on the able but ageing Edin Dzeko as his replacement, as they missed out on a consecutive Scudetto by just 2 points last term. But so far it has not gone to plan. The Belgian striker scored 2 minutes into his first game back, but took until February to get his second, with 3 separate injuries keeping him out for 18 games and a poor World Cup doing little for his confidence. At this stage, ending the campaign with the 10 goals in all competitions he managed for Chelsea last term would be some achievement. Still contracted to the Blues until 2026, what happens next for Lukaku, not long ago one of the most sought after goal scorers in Europe, is anyone's guess. 8. Sergio Reguilon. Signing Sergio Reguilon looked like smart business from Atletico Madrid. With Renan Lodi heading to Nottingham Forest, Reguilon offered valuable competition to Reinildo, while the Spaniard was flexible playing in a back 3 or back 4. And although his time in England ended with a whimper, in La Liga he was back on fertile ground, voted the division's best left-back in 2019-20 while at Sevilla. So he seemed like a pretty safe bet. But it quickly went wrong. In just his 4th appearance, Reguilon picked up 2 yellow cards in quick succession. He's not been seen since, meaning the 26-year-old currently has more red cards than starts for Los Colchoneros. He hasn't even hit 100 league minutes, though it should be noted that a chronic groin lesion has cast him to the sidelines. Still, Spanish publication Estadio Deportivo believe that Diego Simeone simply does not trust him, leading to little hope his loan will be made permanent. Real Madrid also have the option to re-sign their former academy star, but with Los Blancos confirming a move for Rayo Vallecano's Fran Garcia in the summer, the Bernabeu looks shut to Reguilon too. With Antonio Conte also not keen on him, his career is in a sorry state of limbo. 7. Julian Draxler. Julian Draxler may have earned a small fortune at PSG, a reported €7 million per year before tax, but the reality is he has never been a crucial part of that side since signing in 2016. His game time slowly drained away too, starting just 12 Ligue 1 games in 2021, then 5 last season. A loan to Benfica offered him a chance to shine away from the Parc des Princes, but despite years playing among the game's elite, the 29-year-old is struggling to show his class in new surroundings. Draxler has started just 4 of his 10 appearances in the Primera Liga and has only earned 28 minutes in the Champions League. That has culminated in just 1 goal, despite his shots and key passes per game rising to a 3-year high. According to Portuguese outlet O Jogo, Benfica have no plans to keep the former Schalke star beyond his 1-year stay, and it doesn't look like he will feature much throughout the rest of the campaign. Now Gonzalo Guedes has hit the ground running since signing from Wolves. Perhaps a move back to Germany is Draxler's next best bet. 6. Keinan Davis. Of the Premier League loanees in the Championship, Keinan Davis is far from suffering the worst. Just look at Fulham's Rodrigo Muniz at Middlesbrough or Isaac Hayden at Norwich. But the problem for Davis is that he has become a forward who rarely scores goals. For all his excellent physicality, speed and potential, the Englishman has only netted 4 times for Watford despite playing over 1,500 minutes as the regular spearhead of their attack. That follows a modest 5 goals for Nottingham Forest last term, adding to the 7 he has scored in total for his parent club Aston Villa. That's just 16 career goals for the striker, which at the age of 25 is simply not good enough. And now he is in danger of being outshone by another Villa loanee, Cameron Archer. The 21-year-old already has 5 goal involvements in 6 appearances on loan at Michael Carrick's Middlesbrough and looked impressive while at Preston last season. If Villa were going to bet on either striker to lead their line in the future, Archer looks like the better candidate. Davis needs to show he still deserves a place at the top level too. 5. Sergiño Dest. One of Europe's most exciting young fullbacks when he signed for Barcelona in 2020, Sergiño Dest's loan switch to Milan last summer followed 2 seasons of declining performances. The USA international proved to be the latest in a long line of candidates who failed to fill the void left by Dani Alves in 2016, with the Brazilian veteran even brought back to the club by Xavi midway through last season at the age of 38. Milan seemed like a good option, a team on the up and with the potential to grow even better with a more attacking threat down the right. Dest seemed like a good alternative to the more defensive David Calabria, but with manager Stefano Pioli reluctant to drop his captain and preferring Pierre Kalulu as his backup when he was injured in the autumn, Dest has barely had a look in, making just 2 league starts and ranking 21st in the squad for minutes played. And his latest minutes have come out of position, playing left back in a 4-0 loss to Lazio. With a reported €20 million option to buy, it's currently unclear whether sporting director Paolo Maldini will sanction such a move. With other areas of the team in need of upgrading in the summer, it feels unlikely. 4. Callum Hudson-Odoi. He only turned 22 3 months ago, but Callum Hudson-Odoi's career already feels long, arduous and full of bad luck. Multiple spells out with injury, the denial of a move to Bayern Munich and Chelsea's continuous spending on big money wingers meant the Englishman struggled for consistent game time after making his first team debut as a 17-year-old back in 2018, topping 1,000 Premier League minutes in just 1 season. So a loan move was long overdue, and he seemed like a good fit in a Bayer Leverkusen side brimming with young talent. Able to play across the forward line, Hudson-Odoi's versatility would also be a plus in a side missing Florian Wirtz through a long-term injury. But following a bright beginning to his Bundesliga career, his influence has waned, with Xabi Alonso awarding him just 1 start since the World Cup and hooking him at half-time, with the Spanish coach seemingly less keen on the Englishman than predecessor Gerardo Seoane. And perhaps it's not a surprise, while he still creates a very decent 2.1 chances per 90, his shots have dropped from 1.7 to just 0.2, and his progressive carries from 6.3 to 4.4. Out of contract in 2024, if Leverkusen don't choose to extend his stay, at least the youngster has the chance for a permanent fresh start elsewhere. 3. Sergio Wijnaldum. Our inclusion of Gini Wijnaldum is pretty harsh, as the Dutchman cannot be blamed for fracturing his tibia 12 minutes into his Roma debut, an injury that cost him a World Cup place as well. But this was a massive blow to Mourinho's Roma project. The club were sheepish in the market, only investing a fraction of what they earned in player sales, so the capture of the PSG midfielder and his annual €9 million wages was a significant part of their business. The 32-year-old had a point to prove as well. A lucrative move to the French capital had not been a success, and he finished the 21-22 campaign as the 12th most used player in the PSG squad. Although he continued to be a trusted figure on the ball, holding down a 90% pass accuracy, his defensive and attacking metrics all collapsed as he struggled to carve out a role at the Parc des Princes. Fortunately for Roma and Wijnaldum, he returned in their recent 1-1 draw with Lecce. He now has just under half a campaign to show his worth, and an €8 million permanent stay in the Eternal City could be his ultimate reward. 2. Dan James. We know full well that you were expecting to see Artur Melo on this list, and for good reason. The Brazilian's loan switch to Liverpool has been a total disaster. But for more on him, check out our recent top 10 on gambles that are failing this season. In the meantime, we are at Fulham, where Dan James is struggling. The Welshman has become little more than a late bench option, thrown into the Fulham attack to provide pace against tired defenders. In total, James has played just 357 minutes in the league, and that has translated into just 1 goal and 0 assists, while 6 of his 7 attempted dribbles have been unsuccessful. In the 25-year-old's defence, Marco Silva has rarely tinkered with his starting 11. Kazawa, Wilson, Kearney and Carlos Vinicius have barely featured too, so James is not alone. But the former Man United star looks devoid of confidence, while the return of Manuel Solomon has pushed him further down the pecking order. His dream move to Old Trafford didn't work out, then Leeds were happy to let him move on too. If this loan at Fulham doesn't stick, a return to the Championship could be beckoning. 1. Kasper Dolberg. And finally, we have former Ajax wonderkid Kasper Dolberg, who has endured not one but two terrible loans this season. First, Dolberg floundered at Sevilla, failing to score once, and now he is at Hoffenheim, where after 6 games he still hasn't opened his account in the Bundesliga. He may have scored in the DFB Pokal, but 2 goals in 656 minutes for club and country this season simply isn't good enough for a striker. In fairness, it's not totally Dolberg's fault. Sevilla endured one of their worst starts in their La Liga history, while Hoffenheim are winless in 12, with their Bundesliga status seriously in danger. The Dane has been embroiled in 2 relegation battles in 2 separate countries and played under 4 different managers already this term. Expecting him to produce his best football under these circumstances is a stretch. That said, the 25-year-old is in dreadful form. Nice let him move after he scored only 12 times in Ligue 1 between 2020 and 2022, while this season his shots have fallen to below 1 a match. The result is a truly awful current rate of 0.05 goals per 90 minutes, less than Hoffenheim centre-back Ozan Kabak. Dolberg has said he needs consistent game time to rediscover his scoring touch, but the longer the net eludes him, the less he is likely to be afforded that luxury. So those were 10 loan moves going horribly wrong, but what did you make of our list, and can you name any more? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.